When it comes to marketing, there are some marketing metrics that are extremely important that you want to be tracking if you want to hit your goals. And today we're going to talk about those. Hey, I'm Spencer Powell and welcome back to Builder Funnel TV. If you don't know me, I'm the CEO over at Builder Funnel, and our agency has helped our clients generate well over $150 million in remodeling and custom home projects. This channel, Builder Funnel TV, is where we share tips and strategies, things that have worked for us in hopes that they work for you too, so that you can grow your business. All right, so let's talk about marketing metrics and tracking. So the first thing that you want to track is qualified contacts or new leads. And there's a lot of different language around this. People use, leads, raw leads, new contacts, marketing qualified leads, then you start getting into appointments. I like to just start at raw leads. So that's going to be anybody that emails in, anybody that calls in, anybody that fills out your contact us form, anybody that does an online chat, or anybody that downloads something on your website, basically fills out any type of form. So any incoming inquiry, even if it's just to download a resource or join the newsletter. So that's going to be a raw lead. And then you want to measure how many of those actually made it to a meeting. So you can look at raw leads to, we call that marketing qualified. They made it to a meeting, and then if the meeting goes well and you say, yep, this is somebody we want to work with, they would move to a sales qualified lead. But if you just break down those couple of things, you'll start to see some really good percentages from raw leads to meetings booked to closed deals. And the powerful metric here that you want to uncover is how many raw leads do I need to equal one closed project. And if you know that, then you can say, our goal for this year is X number of projects, and I'm going to multiply it by the number of leads that I need to land an average project. And now you can game plan around creating that number of raw leads. And then the percentages will shake out generally how they do if they follow the normal closing path. All right, hand in hand with that, you want to track revenue and ROI. And so this does take a couple of extra steps to, one, put the system in place to be able to track it, but then two, actually report on it and look at it and measure it. And so the piece here is that when you close a deal, you want to be able to go back to the original source. Where did that lead come from? And then what did they, what was the path that they took? But more importantly, how did it get generated? Where did it come from? Because if you can tie everything back to that, then you can look at, okay, I had 3 million in revenue this year, and I can attribute $1 million to this channel and 250,000 to this channel, and so on. And then when you're game planning the next year, you can look at all those numbers and make much, much better strategic marketing decisions. All right, so the third thing that you want to track is website traffic and data around that. So there's lots and lots of different data points that you can track, but generally you want to look at how much traffic am I getting to my website? So that is generally number of visitors. You can track page views, number of unique visitors, any of that type of stuff. Honestly, whatever you're picking, you should just be consistent in the way you're reporting it. But you want to see how many people are getting to my website every month. And then you're going to be able to break down what are the different channels that are driving that traffic. So generally it's going to be organic search, so people doing Google searches or Yahoo or Bing, paid search, so maybe you're spending ad money on Google and people are finding your ads and clicking. You're going to have social media traffic, you're going to have email that's driving some traffic, you're going to have social media ads, so you're going to have maybe 5 to 8 different buckets of traffic, but you want to be able to see how much traffic you're getting and then where that traffic is coming from. Next up is keyword rankings. So this is a really nice metric to track when you're playing the long game of SEO. Because a lot of times, if you have a new site or your site isn't ranking for much, you can start producing blog content, you can improve the technical SEO on your site, you can actually start working on your SEO, and you can see improvement in keyword rankings, but no improvement in traffic. And the way this actually shakes out is that you maybe write a blog post and you start ranking for bathroom remodeling Colorado Springs. But by ranking, really you've just made it into the top 100 positions. That's considered like now you're on the board. But really the top 100 positions is you're on page 10 because there's 10 listings per page on Google. And so you can start to make it onto page 10, page 9, page 8, you could get all the way to page 2 for dozens of keywords, but you're probably still not getting any traffic, because typically page 1, the first several spots, they're getting almost all the traffic. And so that can be a nice leading indicator of, am I making progress towards getting more traffic? Am I seeing improvement in my rankings? Am I getting my way towards page 1 where I'll actually start to reap some of the benefits of getting that traffic? So tracking your keyword ranking across lots and lots of different keywords as you start to produce blog content, fix your technical SEO, and work on those things can show you that, hey, I'm either on the right path or I'm not. Next up is social media engagement metrics. This one, I would say, is lower on the list in context of all of the things that we've talked about, but it can still be important. And so what you want to look at are things like likes, comments, engagement, views on stories, watch time on YouTube, stuff like that. What you're looking for here are some indicators that you're actually reaching more people, getting more time with people. And so this is where I think you get into like a much deeper discussion around branding. But one of the key elements of branding is actually time spent. And so if somebody can spend more time with your brand, so they've watched a bunch of videos, they've seen your social media feed, they've looked at a bunch of projects, and if you can build their time with your brand up from 0 to say 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours, they get a lot more familiar with you and they trust you more. Because one of the elements of trust is time spent. It's a funny thing because obviously there's some context behind how that time is being spent, but generally the more familiar you get, the more trust is built. And so social media can be a great metric for trying to determine, am I getting more time with my prospects that could be future customers? And then obviously there's a lead gen component, and that ties back into some of the other metrics we talked about, which is social media driving traffic to my website and then converting into leads and customers? And you want to be able to look at that. But I would say that is happening less so for more remodelers today. And what you're really looking at is kind of that brand component. And so things like comments, likes, shares, time spent, those are going to be some great indicators of if you're making progress in that arena. And then the final one we're going to talk about today is email marketing metrics. And so when we think about time spent, building trust, building up familiarity with you and your prospect, when they've been to your site and they've downloaded something and they are on your newsletter list, you can see things like how many times they open, how many times they click, and then they're going to go back to the site and they're going to engage with your website. How much time are they spending on the site? So again, that's a component of taking somebody that doesn't know about you, they're going to convert, and now we're going to build up our touches and our time and our education, and we're trying to build up all that trust with somebody that's making a very large decision. And so they're going through this buyer journey of research and looking for the right company and trying to educate themselves on the process. And so email, you can look at all those things. Opens and clicks are the two common statistics, but you can also connect the dots to once they click, if they're going back to your website, then you can see time spent there and all the different pages that they're going to. And so those tend to get tied together as long as you have those systems connected. And so those can be really powerful metrics to see, like, how engaging is my content? Am I getting people to open it? Are they interested in this stuff? Are they clicking on it? And if you see your opens and your clicks start to drop, hey, maybe I'm creating the wrong kind of stuff. Maybe this isn't what my audience cares about, or they're not interested, or they're not learning anything, or I'm not engaging enough. Maybe the information is right. And so it allows you to test that and then improve the content that you're delivering. So there you have it. There are 6 different key marketing metrics that you should and can be measuring. And those things will all give you either leading indicators or lagging indicators of if your marketing is successful. All right, guys, we'll see you next time here on Builder Funnel TV.